Welcome back everyone to Onshape. Today we're going to look at a few new tools, specifically the Revolve Tool and the Fillet Tool. Now we're going to be using the sketch that can be found on Activity 1.2.5 on the Project Lead the Way website to go through this process to make sure we can add each piece on in the simplest way possible. First, we're going to create a new part just like we always have. Go to Create and Document, and we're going to call this one Activity 1.2.5. Now we're going to have this about the same mentality we always do with creating a sketch, and we're going to do it on the front view. But this time we have to think of things as a revolution. We know a circle will revolve around a point in the center. So instead of creating a cylinder and trying to extrude it up, we're going to create a revolution. The reason is, if we see this piece here, we see a slight chamfer, and this can be very difficult to do by just extruding cylinders. So a revolution will make this piece much simpler. We're going to go to the front side view by first clicking Sketch and our front plane. Then I'm going to go to the front view. From here, we're going to create the basic shapes we need just using lines. I'm not going to worry about the dimensions yet. I'm going to focus on that later. Notice I'm starting by lining up on the center. I'm going to create a line that goes down to the center, and it should be completely vertical. I'm going to move over to the side, and I'm going to sketch the basic shape that I'm going to have for my cylinder that'll rotate. I have my basic shape, but if I go back to the sketch, we don't have the exact shape. And as engineers, we want to make sure things are exact. I see the note that all dimensions are in millimeters. I'm going to start with the height. I see the full height is 30 millimeters. I'm going to go back and I'm going to choose the dimension tool. And I'm going to grab the side that represents the full height. And I'm going to type in 30 and mm. It'll auto-populate the millimeters for me, and I'll press enter. This will adjust the height. I see that the distance here, from this point to this point, is 5 millimeters. I'll adjust that as well. I'll click the point and drag down and type in 5 mm for 5 millimeters. I also see that this is 30 degrees. Well, I need to change that. I'm going to grab the diagonal side and click on a horizontal side and move this out. You see this gives me an angle measure in degrees. I'll type in 30 and press enter. Now that all of these sides are created, I know my distances should be correct. There is one piece that I do need to make sure is correct, and that is the overall size of this circle. I see the radius, or excuse me, the diameter. We know it's a circle with a line, so its diameter is 40. Well, the radius will be half of that, or 20. This circle here represents that radius, so it should be 20 millimeters. Now all of my dimensions are correct. Notice it still displays in inches, but these are the correct millimeter measures. I'm going to come and close out my sketch by confirming, and then I want to go to the isometric view. We've been using the extrude tool. Now we're going to use the revolve tool. The revolve tool will take a surface or face, such as the one we have here, and revolve it around an axis. This is the first tool we've used that requires two inputs to finish the action. I'll select the face, which is the overall shape, and then I'm going to select the revolving axis, which will just be this inside line. This gives me the shape I want. If I go to the view cube, I can move around to see that I have all the shape that I want. I'm going to confirm the action. This is a portion of the figure, but I still have to do this top piece. If I look at it, it's a square that has a curve that leads up to it. This is a very smooth curved form, and we've really not seen anything like this. But thankfully, we have some tools to make this very easy. The first thing I need to do is to create a sketch on the top of the cylinder. So I'll select Sketch and the face I want to make the sketch on, and I'll change the top view. Remember how we started with that line at the center? Conveniently, that lines up our cylinder at the center of the plane. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select my rectangle, center point rectangle. This will let me start my rectangle at the center like we've done in previous lessons. Again, I'm not going to be concerned about the scale and the dimensions just yet. I'm going to use the dimension tool to do that. But since I'm able to start at the center, I know this is centered on my figure. I'm going to go back to my sketch and I see that it should be 10 millimeters by 10 millimeters. I'll go back to Onshape, select the dimension tool. I'll dimension this side to be 10. Oh, we seem to have a slight issue. Let's try that again. Select the dimension tool, select the side, and type in 10 millimeters. I'll do the same on this side. Select the side and type 10 millimeters. So I know it's the correct dimensions, and I'll finish the sketch. I'll go back to my isometric view, and I want to extrude this up, but how far? I have no measurement on my isometric view, and I can't tell from here, but on my front side view, I see that it should be 15 millimeters tall. I'll go to the extrude tool, select the surface, and make sure that I've selected 10 mm for millimeters. Now confirm the action. When I go back, I see that I should have been doing 15. Well, I can change this. I can come over here to my features window, double click on extrude, and change this to 15 millimeters. And I've corrected the mistake, and I'll confirm. Now I have a surface coming out of my cylinder, but I don't have those curves. We call those curves a fillet. I'm going to come up to my fillet tool, and I have the option to choose a circular fillet, a conic fillet, or a curvature fillet. I'm going to select a curvature. What should my curvature be, though? I have R represents a radius of 5 millimeters. I'll select, make sure my radius is 5 millimeters, and press enter. Then I will select every side that I want filleted. I'll have to go to my view cube to rotate the figure, and to rotate again. And we'll rotate back to our original side so we have our isometric view, and I'll confirm. I've now completed the shape according to the diagram that fits all the exact dimensions as the original form.